Hey, guys. Altovise here with another episode of the #SpeakEasy Podcast, where we go behind the scenes talking about what it means to be the successfully paid entrepreneur, right? That part. All of us want that in our lives, I would hope. I mean, some may do it for hobby, but for those that don't, I'm excited about this particular episode for a couple of reasons. Well, for one, I'm excited to be able to say that the Speakeasy podcast, the Our Voice Matters blog, and World Voice League are all international communities and companies, and support has come from all over the world. You guys have seen me share out over on social media that the listening audience, you guys are in India, in Senegal, in South Africa, in the UK, in uh, all these different places, right? And people always ask, well, how did you do that? And I go through conversations. But I wanted to talk to our guest for today because she can give you a deeper dive into how to really have a strategy for doing it. Because for me, my strategy may not work for you, and that is a-okay. So with that being said, hello, Michelle. How are you?
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me to Speakeasy, and especially in an international context, because I am an international publicist. So I love these types of conversations.
Oh, I know this is going to be a great one. Uh, I've seen so many opportunities open up when it comes to connecting with people internationally that people just miss out on. And so let's talk about, well, tell the studio audience a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go ahead and dive into the topic.
Yeah, let's just keep it nice and succinct. I'm an international publicist. I've actually seen publicity transition from typewriters to Twitter. Yes, I'm that old. I co-founded a PR firm, Wasabi Publicity, in 2002 with my business partner Drew Gerber. And what we love to do is to take clients and get them a platform and then put them on what I call top shelf PR. National TV, international syndicated slots like the BBC or the Associated Press or things of that nature. That's like, after doing PR for so many years, when we get scores like that, I just had a client who's actually the Happy Zen millionaire from Tokyo. He's in Japan. His name is Ken Honda, and he does Happy Money. And we had him trending just a few weeks ago on CNBC, above Fauci, above Elon Musk. And that to me was like, that's a good day.
I absolutely love it. So, one of the things that I found in this journey as an entrepreneur, let's just be honest, we always talk about, oh my goodness, no, I can't find support. The people around me aren't supporting my podcast, my business, my book, my this, my that. And we can kind of like ramble down the list of things. But the reality is that most times they're not your target audience. And so when it comes time for us to market, and especially when it comes time for us to market abroad, we kind of are in this weird space of how do we even make those connections?
Yeah. And so the other thing you should know about me is I have a master's degree in human development. So I'm also going to talk to that introvert, that extrovert, that adult learning. That's, most of us are thinking about most of the time, what are we having for dinner? What do I have to put on the food to feed the kids? Right? When do I need to do my laundry, take out the garbage? That's adulting type things. So then add to it, you've got a business, you've got to promote yourself, all that stuff. Let's just really be straight and keep it simple. So Altovise, you always talk about really keeping things simple with a structure and how to actually promote yourself. And conversations are the way. We share each other as human beings, and then we keep each other accountable. So the first thing is what are you dreaming about? What are you hoping for? Go share it. Because then that friend is going to come back to you and say, hey, how's that weight loss program coming? How's that new business coming? And they're just having conversations with you because they're trying to connect. But in actuality, what's happening, because we are humans that have to be together, we're social beings. And that's really what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about storytelling. And so I call myself, and have for many, many years, a storyteller to the media. In fact, that's where I blog. So if you want to go to my blog, storytellertothemedia.com, And that's all we're really talking about. So what's your story? What's your story that you're going to share with another human that's going to really bring about your dreams? It's really that simple.
I love that you made it that simple, because we do try to overcomplicate things sometimes.
Right? Right? It's not complicated.
We want a whole dissertation. No, it's not that serious. Like, it's a simple way to do it, which is really great. And I know that for me as an introvert, and this is all of those introverts that listen to the SpeakEasy podcast, I'm always repping for you guys, but they often, say, oh, well, you're shy and you're too quiet. But the thing is introverts are strategic.
Yes, I'm married to one. And by the way, on the Myers-Briggs thing, when I take a test, I'm equal introvert and extrovert. Obviously, I'm an extrovert, right? I am in your face out there, and I love to talk. It's why I use my master's degree for publicity, not for therapy, because I would be talking myself through that therapeutic session, and the person would be like, shut up. I want to talk about my problems, okay? So when you have the gift of gab, go use it to make some money, right? So that's how I put food on the table. But let's talk about my husband, right? Bank manager. But where I might just jump in and have a conversation without really thinking about it, but he will like be strategic about what's happening next. And so, but I do recognize that for him, like when we, before the pandemic, when we go to parties or overly social thing, it really wasn't his cup of tea, right? He didn't really want to be with a whole bunch of people all the time because it drained him, where it energized me. And I think that that's important. How are you happy in life? Just because you don't want to go to a party full of 100 people and have small talk. He tells me about this one time we went to a party and he got stuck speaking about raw food. This guy had just come back from a raw food conference. And my husband is like, an extreme athlete, like whitewater kayaking, mountain biking. And I was over in the corner looking at him and I'm like, oh my God, he's having a conversation. And I'm over there in the corner like, yeah, you're doing good in a party, right? Girl, 45 minutes later, I go over there and I've realized he is so bored and so struggling. And not only was it a conversation about raw food, it was breath about raw food. And he grabbed my arm and gave me the, like, I don't know about, we all of our lovers have something different, right? He puts his hand right on my back and then just rubs my back, which means wrap it up, we're going. So point is, he hates that. Does that mean that he's not gonna excel at social media? He loves and excels at social media as an introvert. So what story are you telling? And then how are you telling it inside what makes you happy and comfortable? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes so much sense. I've had some of those moments and you kind of get stuck and then you're like looking around the room for your knight in shining armor to come and save you.
He's like, what took you so long? 45 minutes? I'm having this inane conversation about raw food and his breath stank. And I still feel bad about that.
Oh, we listen.
Just tell your extroverted friends to make sure that you're checked on every 15 minutes.
Exactly.
That's all we need.
Like you need to have some like codes. And so I love the back rub. I love that. You got to have some codes out there to be able to
yes.
say, hey.
Like the wrap it up is like a little bit of a rub on the back and then a pat.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, one of the other things that we often see in many industries is that we get these international opportunities and then they just lie dormant. I see it.
Okay, you all.
Like all the time.
That is self-sabotage. Okay, I don't cut and dry, go get some therapy about that or journal about it. Why are you self-sabotaging yourself? When an opportunity comes, you seize it, you take it. Now, I don't know what happens, but I do see it happen quite a lot with publicity clients, because they're like, yeah, I want to tell my story to the world. And then you get them a TV interview and they're scared. And so then it's my job as a publicist to hold their hand through the process. It can be scary. I understand that. However, it's your opportunity to really, instead of just telling one person to support you, you might have 1 million people. And, having that story, everybody already has an opinion about you. Okay. And it doesn't matter because it's their opinion that's reflective of themselves. You get the opportunity to tell your own story. And when someone gives you the opportunity to be on an international platform, just take it. We've got so many friends and partners. I have magazine editors, TV producers, and they're just trying to get their job done, right? They're just trying to get their food on their table too. And they just need a good story. And if you've got a good story, just share it and inspire people, educate people. What I'm all about is the good news of the world. That's how we can make a difference. Because I say the stories that you consume you. So then be mindful, not only of what's coming out of your mouth, but then who you're sharing it with, and then also who you're listening to from the press. What's there? Everybody speaking has some type of ulterior motive. We're human. So you've got to ask, well, what's the bias here, right? With Altovise and me, it's pretty clear. I have a PR firm. That's what I'm selling, right? You've got a podcast. You're selling SpeakEasy, right? We're both entrepreneurs. So we have an innate interest already in our business succeeding. That's our bias. You have to ask the same thing about every magazine, every podcast, every blog that you consume, because it is shaping who you are as a human. It's shaping your brain. Now, how about that?
Oh, that was good. That was so good.
Come on, let's share this with Oprah.
Look, right?
Right?
That was never.
I do know her publicist, by the way, when we worked on the Nelson Mandela Foundation. Yep.
Oh, I love that.
I know. You didn't know that, did you?
I was just about to say, what has been one of your most memorable connections that you made as a publicist for somebody?
Okay, I will. There's been a lot, but let me just share it because I opened that bag. All right, here I am. It was right after Nelson Mandela died, and I was doing a press conference in New York in a blizzard for the foundation. Okay. And I thought, oh my gosh, nobody's going to show up at this because it's a blizzard, right? And they're all in from Africa. So they're like, so what, the blizzard? I'm like, no, you don't understand. When we have extreme weather in America, that is what is the news cycle. But we had a packed house. I got them there anyway. I mean, because everybody, not a hard sell. It's Nelson Mandela Foundation. However, it is something that, as a publicist, the measure of your success is how many placements are there, how many interviews, how many journalists and producers are you going to get to actually have this conversation? And that's what we measure.
I love that too. And I think one of the things that people forget, and this is why it's important, yes, having a publicist is important. Having someone that can help and give you a strategy for your visibility is so valuable, because guess what? It's more than a logo. It's more than brand colors. It's more than graphics. It is so much more. And understanding the importance of the conversations and the rooms that you are in just blows my mind, that people do not understand the value of it. No matter if you have a business, if you've written a book, if you are a speaker, no matter what industry you are in, there is value in having a strategy from someone that can say, these are the connections that I've made, these are the conversations that I can get you in on, and then you can take it from there. I think we've lost sight of that, because when people think of a publicist, they think, oh, first of all, they think I have to be a celebrity to have a publicist.
That is not true. You just have to have a little bit of expertise. And I know that in the pandemic, we were giving away this PR workbook. And if that would be helpful to your podcast listeners, I can give you a link and you could just give this workbook away for free.
Oh, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah. And then that way, look, if you can speak about yourself, you can be your own publicist. I am committed, because look, at the end of the day, we can all do our own gardening out in our own yard. Sometimes we might need a little help, and we might hire someone to help us with our yard work, right? That's how you want to think of a publicist. But you're going to get your yard taken care of regardless because it's your home, right? So do you always need a publicist? No, you do not. You just need to be able to, uh, and I know network sometimes is one of those words in this podcast, right? It just means telling a story. You can tell your story to your local press and anybody that you're trying to reach. And I guarantee you, those journalists and those producers want to hear from you.
Most definitely, most definitely. Speakeasy Podcast, there's several reasons why this is a great episode and that you should be taking notes and kind of, jotting some things down, because one of the things that I've found, especially when connecting with people internationally, first and foremost, you have to pay attention to time zones.
You have timeanddate.com, y'all.
Okay. You have to pay attention to time zones. It was through doing these types of things and doing a global summit where I had people coming in, and it was one day for me, but it was the next day for them, and trying to make sure everybody's in alignment. But there are people worldwide that need to hear your story.
And they want to hear from you. They want to cover you. And, there's not a shortage. I always, when people talk about competition in public relations, I'm like, there's no competition. There's plenty of people who need help telling their story. And, you just have to tell it in a succinct manner. We do press kits to really help with your messaging. And so we also leverage technology. It's one of our claim to fame is our ability to use technology to keep the costs lower. And we've got so many opportunities with social media that are free. So, and then also I'm my business partner, I created a networking site called Pitchratecom. I'll make sure that you have all these links so that you can include it in the podcast. And I think it's important for you to practice just talking to the press because they need different things. It's about the public good. It's not about you. So that might help some of you, right? Especially if you're all about going to church and doing public service and public good, like I was taught as a child, then just focus on that. Well, what's your public service? What's your giveaway? How are you doing public good? And then take the focus off of yourself. That might help some of you actually focus on what we're doing for the community at large.
Absolutely valuable. I love every bit of this Speakeasy Podcast. Y'all know the reason we do this is because I want to make sure that you guys gain access to what it is you need to be successful in life and in business. And trust and believe, I've hit several pitfalls when it came times for trying to get visibility for the podcast, visibility for the blog, visibility. Like people are like, oh, wow, you're doing so good now. And I'm like, yeah, it took some time.
Ongoing learner. You sound like a traditional ongoing learner, a woman after my own heart. Because you got to fake it till you make it, baby. Like,
listen, I was always, and I'm a researcher, so I'm always
right.
I'll look something up. I'll read books. I'll do all because
we all ask stupid questions, and somebody who says they never ask a stupid question is lying.
Or they didn't listen to themselves.
They didn't listen to your podcast. That's right.
They didn't listen because no, we've had some interesting questions that we've probably asked along the way. Nice. I love this. This has been a great episode. Michelle, I want you to let the studio audience know how they can reach you online. And we'll have all of the links also in the show notes, you guys, so that way you can go ahead and get that 21-day PR as well.
Yeah, I'd love to really give that to people. I think the easiest one for you to remember is my blog, storytellertothemedia.com. And then that'll have all the other links that you need. And I'll be sure to write up a nice blog specifically on this show so that we can promote together. Okay. And when you're on a podcast, you help those people promote. And when you're in the article, promote it, leverage it, share it. I just heard from a podcaster yesterday. She's like, I had people on, they didn't even promote it. I'm like, what is the point?
That's a whole nother episode.
It is. I'm happy to come back.
Because people they really do get the opportunity and then they don't promote it, or they don't know how to. I always use the word leverage. They don't know how to leverage it. Right. Like you want to leverage the people in the podcasters audience, but you don't want to go and use it to kind of gain more of an audience for yourself. There's so many different things. Blogging is still alive, guys. It's not dead.
It is.
It's very
It's
much
your
alive.
story. And I think at the end of this podcast, what I want to really impress upon people is the stories coming out of your mouth and the stories that we're listening to shape who you are. It shapes your business. It shapes our world. Be mindful of that.
Ooh, that was the perfect way to end the podcast. I love it. Oh my goodness. So guys, trust me, I know that when it comes to PR, people have like mixed reservations. I get it. But this is why I did this podcast. I want you to listen in, go back, hit the rewind, go ahead and press play again, share it out, save it, download it. Why? Because there is somebody again that needs your story and they may be sitting on the other side of the world, and the only way that they will get your story is when you open your mouth and become unmuted. That part is valuable. With that being said, I appreciate you guys. And until next time, guys, don't forget to press it out. See ya.